What's up EFD, and today we're counting down 10 players we're expecting to bounce back this season following tough previous campaigns. 10. Eden Hazard. It's no secret that Eden Hazard has endured a torrid 2 years at Real Madrid since signing from Chelsea in 2019. With injuries and fitness a continuous problem, he made just 21 La Liga starts across 2 campaigns, registering just 3 goals and 5 assists in that time, and seeing his dribble, key pass and shot numbers, once among the best in Europe, drop off dramatically. But with Carlo Ancelotti now at the helm, there's a feeling Hazard is due a fresh start at the Bernabeu, and after returning to the club this summer in better shape than in years past, has already made a positive start to the season. He's started twice and in 3 league appearances has already created 6 chances, as many as he managed in 14 games last term. He may still be some way off his blistering best, but there are signs that the Belgian is finally ready to make a meaningful contribution in the Spanish capital. And with Gareth Bale and Vinicius Jr. both impressing in the early weeks, he will need to be on top of his game to become a regular fixture. Let's hope the former Chelsea talisman can finally accomplish his dream in La Liga. 9. Cengiz Under. Following a tough 2019-20 campaign at Roma and a loan spell with Leicester City which saw him make just 1 Premier League start last term, Cengiz Under already looks to have found a happier home in Marseille, where he has kicked off the season in style. Although he was keen to work under Jose Mourinho back at his parent club, the Turkish winger was loaned to the French outfit in July, in a deal which reportedly includes an €8.4 million obligation to buy should certain targets be met. And with 3 goals to his name already, that could prove to be a steal. One of a number of interesting signings made by this summer, Under is thriving in Jorge Sampaoli's 3-4-2-1 system, linking up well with Konrad de la Fuente and Dimitri Payet in attack. He's already taken 10 shots in the box, more than anyone else in Sampaoli's squad, while only Payet has created more chances. What's more, his ability to both cut in to shoot and take the ball to the byline has been a hallmark of the side's attacking play in the early weeks of the campaign. With 2 goals on international duty for Turkey, Under is in seriously hot form right now. We can see him continuing to have a lot of fun in France this campaign. 8. Alfonso Davies. Alfonso Davies was far from poor in 2020-21, but considering the hype which had surrounded him towards the end of the previous season, heightened by some awe-inspiring displays in the Champions League knockout stages, it's fair to say he had a somewhat subdued campaign. His tackle, dribble and creative numbers all fell, albeit not by much, but what was more striking was his comparative lack of presence in the final third. He registered just 3 goal involvements in the Bundesliga, down from 8 in 19-20. His expected goals and assists dropped from 0.27 to 0.11 per 90, and heatmaps showed he was neither dragging opposition fullbacks to the byline or breaking into the penalty area as much as before. But the early signs are that under Julian Nagelsmann, the Canadian star will be firing in attack once again. So far he's been given more license to roam, and though the numbers are taken from a small sample size, the fact he's completing over 5 dribbles a game, up from 3.2 last season, and is creating 1.7 chances a match, up from 1.1, is very promising. There's no doubt that he will prove to be one of Nagelsmann's most useful weapons in his first season at the Allianz. 7. Davinson Sanchez. Davinson Sanchez endured arguably his most difficult season in a Spurs shirt last term. No Premier League player gave away more penalties than the Colombian in 2021, while defensive errors had seemed to become increasingly common for him under Jose Mourinho, who dropped him for a number of games. However, he's looked a lot more solid at the start of the new campaign. With Nuno Espirito Santo, who has a far better recent record of coaching defences than his compatriot, now at the helm, we should expect to see the former Ajax man improve. He's also been helped by having Japhet Tanganga to his right, with the Englishman a far more reliable defensive presence than Sergio Aurier or Matt Doherty, while Emerson Royal should also prove to be an adept accomplice. And with the physically imposing Christian Romero still to start, Sanchez has a potentially transformative centre-back partner coming in. Once one of Europe's most highly rated young defenders, Sanchez still has plenty of time to silence his doubters at 25. We reckon this season could be his time to shine. 6. Gabriel Jesus. It already looks like Gabriel Jesus is set to enjoy a resurgence this season. The Brazilian forward's record of a goal or an assist every 158 minutes last term was by far the worst showing of his Man City career, while Pep Guardiola hardly used him in the side's run to the Champions League final, and as the club pursued Harry Kane, his future at the Etihad was far from certain. But despite City looking a more formidable outfit when deploying a false 9 last season, Jesus' versatility has always been somewhat underrated, and his recent performances on the right have said as much. Registering a goal and 3 assists in the side's 5-0 demolitions of Norwich and Arsenal, the 24-year-old has kicked off the 21-22 season with a bang, and with Pep unable to secure a Sergio Aguero replacement in the summer, he will no doubt be relied upon more in the months ahead. Of players to have played more than a game in the early weeks in the campaign, only Trent Alexander-Arnold is creating more chances per 90 than Jesus in the league. And while he will no doubt be rotated in and out of the side once Phil Foden returns from injury, the former Palmeiras man has made an early statement to the manager. He may be no Aguero, but Jesus is more than capable of playing a big role for Man City this term. 5. Dominic Soboslai. One of the most talked about players in Europe during the early months of the 2021 campaign, news of Dominic Soboslai's transfer to RB Leipzig midway through the season was followed by disappointment, as abductor problems that were initially thought to keep him out until February ended up ruling out the youngster for the entire season and the Euros. But having returned in July, the super talented forward is determined to put things right this season, and has already made his mark, netting a superb brace against Stuttgart. Not yet involved that heavily in the side's attacking play, with most of his shots coming from range and almost half of his chance creation coming from set pieces, it's only natural that the Hungarian will take a bit of time to get fully up to speed with German football following such a long period on the sidelines. But working under Jesse March, who helped turn him into a star in Salzburg, Soboslai has exactly the support he needs to thrive in the Bundesliga, and if all goes well, it may not be too long before he is being moved on for huge profit. 4. Virgil van Dijk. A setback that came to define Liverpool's failure to retain the Premier League title in 2021, Virgil van Dijk's 8-month ACL layoff was the first of a number of major injuries that contributed to a difficult campaign at Anfield, with Jurgen Klopp's side posting their worst points tally since 2015-16 despite finishing third. The Dutch centre-back has also spoken about the mental battle he faced while injured, with the combination of medication and pain making it difficult to sleep, while reading constant speculation and watching his team struggle was tough for him too. But following a positive pre-season, Van Dijk looks fighting fit once again, and while it's too early to tell whether he can inspire a serious title push, the early signs are promising. Alongside the experienced Joel Matip, the Netherlands international has been incredibly solid so far, helping the side concede just once in 3 games. His aerial win percentage has come down, but that has much to do with the fact he's faced Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes in his second outing. Across the season, we'd expect that to come back up. Meanwhile, he remains almost impossible to dribble past, while teammates are already feeling the benefits of his distribution. It's been a welcome return for the Dutchman. 3. Felipe Anderson. One of Serie A's most exciting wide players during his first stint at Lazio, Felipe Anderson became West Ham's record signing when he joined the Premier League outfit in 2018. He enjoyed a successful first campaign at the London Stadium, clocking up more minutes than any other outfield player and contributing to 13 goals in the league. But he completely fell off the following season, and in particular following Manuel Pellegrini's departure, struggling to influence games and feeling the wrath of despairing Hammers fans who deemed him a liability. A loan switch to Porto proved even worse, with the Brazilian unable to get a game, falling out with manager Sergio Conceição. But since returning to Rome this summer, linking up with Maurizio Sarri at the Stadio Olimpico, it looks like his career could be back on track. With the Bianco Celesti starting the season in free scoring form, Anderson already has a goal and an assist to his name, while his shooting and creative numbers are at their highest since he was last in Italy. It is of course early days, and Lazio are yet to face any of their big rivals as this is written. But with the ever-prolific Ciro Immobile to supply for once again, and much of the spine of the side he left in 2018 still intact, we should see the 28-year-old blossom once again. 2. Damari Gray. A transfer which wasn't greeted with much enthusiasm, including in the FD office, Damari Gray's move to Everton from Bayer Leverkusen seemed indicative of a summer in which the Toffees had to cut costs in the transfer market. Whereas the year before they'd been able to attract Alan from Napoli and James Rodriguez from Real Madrid, this time round they had to settle for picking up Andros Townsend and Salomon Rondon on frees. And the arrival of Damari Gray, a player who failed to impress on a consistent basis during his 5 years at Leicester City, was never going to get fans particularly excited, even if he enjoyed some good form in limited minutes during his short stint in Germany. But it already looks like he's gained some confidence from his time in the Bundesliga, scoring excellent goals against Leeds and Brighton, and providing consistent danger down the left-hand side. We'd be very surprised to see him keep up this kind of output, but in a side which so far looks very solid under Rafa Benitez, Gray may finally get the game time he's been craving for. 1. Paulo Dybala. Following a season in which injuries and illness limited him to just 14 Serie A starts, Paulo Dybala is ready to bounce back this term and sign a new contract with Juventus. And following Cristiano Ronaldo's departure, the Argentinian will once again bear a large chunk of the goal-scoring responsibility in Turin. Luckily for him, he has a pretty good supporting cast. Federico Chiesa has started the new season as he ended the Euros. Dejan Kulusevski will be desperate to kick on after a subdued first campaign, while Juan Cuadrado still looks evergreen, bombing up from right back. Starting the season in a front two with Chiesa, it will be interesting to see how their dynamic develops, and whether he can end up producing the kind of output we've seen in the past if Max Allegri persists without a classic number 9 in the forward line. And despite a rough start to the campaign, Juve fans will still be hopeful that the deficiencies that exist within the ranks of their rivals can see them claw themselves back and reclaim the Scudetto. In order to do so, Dybala will need to be on top of his game, and as Allegri's side continue to take their shape, we can see him hitting his previous heights. So those are our 10 players that we think will bounce back this season, but have we missed anyone out? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, then click on screen right now for some more Euro Football Daily content, and as always guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.